Uh, Good evening, Jaganji. I think your mic is muted.
Thank you, Sriramji. Thank you. Uh, friends, good evening once again. Happy to meet you all on this wonderful Tuesday evening. So, last week we had an introduction as to what role is all about as per the family situation. Today, we are going to look into the topic of the role ladder. So, what these roles are exactly, and how do we use these roles in our day-to-day life? So I'll begin the session with the presentation and uh, welcome to one and all of you present here today. Stay Active Movement 4075 Kovai. In short, SAM 4075 Kovai is all about programs online, which is totally focused towards the senior in the family as such, and the caregiver in the family. So these are the three areas which we are focusing on. So all our online programs are free and it is focused towards the senior, the family members, and the caregiver in the family who takes care of these seniors. So today's session, the role ladder, it's about why we shift roles and why conflict erupts. The roles which we have in our family and why we shift our roles and why constantly there's a lot of disruption which is happening in the family. So this is the focus area which we are going to look into. Uh, as we go into the topics, I'll be going in depth as to what the different levels of the ladders are. So today's promise, we'll be looking at how do we decode the conflicts in the family, understand the role ladder as such. So last week we have seen what the role is all about. Today we'll understand what the role ladders are and how can we shift across. We'll be also spotting the mismatches and build agreements to move on in our family life. So this isn't about blaming anyone or trying to find out mistakes with other people. It is about bringing in clarity to our role, which means clarity to the role is clarity in our relationship. So that's the equation which you have got here. Role clarity is equal to the relationship clarity, what we have in our family life. So going to the basic definition of what role is all about. A role is a coherent system of attitudes, feelings, and perspectives and relationship that corresponds to a specific sphere of reality. So we earlier saw like about thinking, feeling, behavior in the previous session. So it again comes back to the four aspects of attitude, feelings, perspectives, and the relationship that corresponds to a specific sphere of reality. So the role keeps on changing to the situation as we progress in our life, as the family situation changes due to age factor, people coming into our family, people moving out of our family. All these things create an impact with the role which we are having. So, why roles matter? It's very simple. The wrong role in the wrong moment leads to conflict. Very simple. The wrong role in the wrong moment leads to conflict. So today we'll also be decoding into what roles can be taken in what sort of a situation. So as usual, my only request to you will be please share your life examples as we go across. So that will add more value to the session which we are taking, and also it will deepen our understanding. So this is the role ladder. Here, actually, role ladder was brought into the area of learning and development by one Bernd Smith. You can find a lot of articles. And after him, Julie Hay, who specializes in transaction analysis, organization also incorporated the model, and she brought out different sort of a model with slight changes, which is pertaining to the transaction analysis model. And we have got two or three more contributors who have contributed to the role ladder. Here you can see the various levels of the ladder. It's like a ladder, and If we go from bottom, we talk about social role, the professional role, the organizational role, the community role, the spiritual role, and various other roles. In today's session, we'll be confining our discussion as to the family, what happens in the family circumstance, where we'll be looking into four different roles. We'll not be looking at the organizational role, which pertains purely to the role which you have in your organization. So, Smith's role ladder, he talks about four roles in a family situation. And remember, conflict erupts when the wrong role enters the wrong moment. That is our basic understanding of why there's a conflict in the family. Why I'm telling this again and again is once we understand the approach we are taking, the point of view, then the four roles which Smith is proposing will be holding a better understanding in our mind. One, the private role. The private role talks about the soft, personal, intimate situations used for emotional connection. That is the private role. Things which we'll not normally discuss in front of somebody. It'll be a one-to-one, or it'll be amongst the close members of the family. So the private role is soft, personal, and intimate, used for emotional connection. The second one is the social role. Uh, it is polite, respectful, and coordinating, used with visitors, gatherings, and events. When we have visitors at our family, or when we have neighbors coming in for a chit chat, that is the social role, which is polite, respectful, coordinating, used with visitors, gatherings, or events. That is the occasion which we are using it for. The third is the professional role. When we say a professional role, it talks about task focused, being efficient, talking about efficiency, using our authoritativeness, right? All these things which we can find also in our organization when we are in our profession. The same sort of a professional role also applies in our family life, which we call it as the task focused, efficient, and authoritative. So it is used when planning or problem solving various aspects in our family. I'll also be bringing out various examples for all these four roles at later stage. The spiritual role. The spiritual role talks about it focuses on the values, wisdom, and guidance which happens inside the family, right? Uh, it is mostly used during rituals, decision dilemmas, and blessings when we get the blessings of the seniors in the family. So these are the four roles which Smith talks about in a family situation: the private role, the social role, the professional role, and the spiritual role. Every person uses four roles. That is the private, social, professional, and spiritual during various situations. And some people might be rigid in certain roles, right? So that is where the challenge happens when we interact with the family members. So, when there's a role misalignment, it creates stress and fights inside the family. A common example, just an introduction to the previous slide where we had the four roles, right? One common example, father comes home in professional boss role, analyzing, evaluating, all those kind of things which happens in a professional role, which we have already seen. Father comes home in professional boss role. Mother is in the social role because she keeps chit chatting with the neighbors, friends, and all those things. There's a kid in the family who needs a playful private role where we need to take care of his emotions and this playfulness. The grandmother, the seniors in the family, mostly she is in the spiritual role, sort of giving advice, suggestions, passing judgments, those kind of roles which is taken up in the family. This is a common example which happens in a family. Just imagine this family where there are four people and the four of them are at different roles: the professional role, the social role, the private role, and the spiritual role, which we had seen in the previous slide. The outcome, simple. There's total mismatch, misunderstanding, and emotional reactions start flaring up because all the four people in the family are not in the same role and each one is in a different role. Now, what is the best possible solution we could have here? I request, I invite the audience to share their thoughts. What could be the best possible solution in this situation? What
Uh,
would you do if you are in your family?
if everyone can get into the private role, it will be nice, I feel, because I mean, as a family, that is more important than being in the boss role or social role or spiritual role.
Great, Sumati. Thank you. Thank you for the sharing. Wonderful. So, Sumati says like it's better we go to the private role in the family. Yes, that is also a possibility. So there are n number of possibilities. One thing what we understand from what Sumati has shared is that uh, there'll be more harmony when we have everybody in the family in almost the same role. That will be much easier. So that is what we are going to look into. Thanks for the wonderful suggestion, Sumati.
Thank you, sir.
So, how role mismatch creates fights? Simple, common mismatches in family. So, going a step further with the previous slide, the parent comes home in professional role and the kid expects playful private role from the parent. You know what kids do when parents come home. They just come running to you, they start hugging you, they start telling what has happened in school, all this kind of things. Now, if the parent is in the professional role, he'll be always analyzing data, lot of these things, right? So the private and the professional role don't go together. This is where the trouble starts. One. Second, grandparents stays in spiritual role when family actually needs a social role where they need to casually talk, but grandparents uh, sometimes in some families they always come out with value. You know, when we were your age, we did like this. Those gyans start coming up, right? The value system, the family, all those kind of things. But actually, when the family needs a social role, again, between a couple, one is in a private and one is in a professional role. This is where we talk about the work-life balance from boardroom to bedroom. Like you don't carry your office things into your family situation or family life. So a couple misfires because one of them wants an intimate moment with the other partner, whereas the other partner is busy with the professional mode, something to do with the office, or he is almost in the same sort of a behavior. So the symptoms of role clash is very simple. You find the tone mismatch. You see that the feelings are judged, the feelings are ignored, and sudden emotional reaction starts coming up. So these are some of the symptoms which you can identify. Yes, Sriramji, please go
Uh,
ahead.
okay. So thank you. I'm not sure whether my question is relevant or
Yes.
I'm still putting it across. Uh, okay. I think we all keep switching between these roles depending on uh, my circle in which I operate at that particular moment, and I think it has got lot to do with my level of acceptance at that particular the group where I'm operating also.
Exactly. You're bang
So
on target. You got the
yeah.
point. Simple. You are right. Your role calls you to do something. Are you in the appropriate role at that appropriate moment? That's it.
Right, right. Okay.
So the will be looking into a few examples
Oh,
which
sure. Okay.
which
Thank you,
can
sir. I'm just
substantiate
looking
what you have
forward to that.
asked.
All right. Thank you.
And this particular question is what our answer is ultimately. So, how do we shift our roles? Where? And it has to be brought in consciously. Once we are aware, then this role clarity comes in and we're able to move across the ladder of the options. So, friends, we were looking at the symptoms of role clash, tone mismatch, feeling judged, feeling ignored, and sudden emotional reaction starts taking place. And remember, it's not the person, it's the role they used. I know, like as I'm giving you some examples, there might be few people coming across in your mind, and please understand, it is not that particular person. It's not the person. It is the role they used. Thus, this person in this role has created this discomfort. It is not that person by nature. It is only the role which they have taken. So that is the assumption which we need to take. I'll not say as an assumption. That is the basic understanding which we need to carry. It is not the person, it is the role they have taken in the family or in that situation which they have exhibited outside. Right? So this is how the role mismatches and the uh, conflict starts taking place. Right? Okay. So now we are going to go into the 4 roles in depth. Okay, the private role, that basic tagline, it says, be real, be human, be genuine, be what you are, be human. That is what it calls for. So the behavior markers for this particular private role will be relaxed, intimate, the soft tone, sharing personal feelings, vulnerable, warm, open to connection. So these are the behavior markers which is uh, for the private role. So once the behavior markers are there, then the ideal movement, right? The ideal movement will be the home arrival when you enter your home, okay, during your meals, during one-on-one bonding, some discussions when someone needs emotional safety. These ideal moments are very limited, I've got here, but the ideal moments can be much more depending on your family situation and your circumstances. Then, what is the warning? What is the warning sign when we overuse the private role? 3 major things: oversharing, taking things personally, becoming passive or avoidant. I'd like to read these 3 reasons again. Oversharing, going beyond the limit and sharing more, taking things personally when it has to be left as it is, becoming passive or avoidant. This passive by itself is a big domain. Just listening and not responding or giving something back. There's no communication. We only just sit there and listen to the other person. Or avoidant, when we start avoiding this person. So these are the warning signals which you need to be aware when the private role goes more than exits. So family needs from you. What do the family expect from you in this role? Your very presence, being physically and mentally present, the warmth, and the basic skill of listening to the other person, which brings in the basics of bonding. Bonding starts here. This is the private role. Friends, please take a screenshot if you want. This private role is very, very important. It is very intimate. It is you in your 100% originality. Being you yourself when you arrive at your home, when you sit at the dining table, when the one-on-one bonding happens, when you talk to your family members, right? When someone needs emotional safety. That is the ideal role which calls for your private role. The second one is the social role, which we which we exhibit with our relatives, friends, neighbors. Okay, this is the polite, balanced, and respectful, right? So the behavior markers are very simple: courteous behaviors, good manners, hosting the guests, coordinating things, being the guest mode and family events mode, right? So these are your behavior markers. Like here, there's no private role inside. It is purely social. In Tamil, we call it as the Vanga Palagalam. When you welcome somebody to your house, there starts your social role. So whatever they have taught you in your younger days, in your school, in your family, your elders have taught you how to be polite, balanced, and respectful. All those behavior comes here. The ideal moments, festivals, when you have visitors at home, family gatherings, and group decisions. When you're in a group, wherever it is, when you want to take an important decision, or whenever you have visitors at home, everywhere this behavior markers are very, very important. This is your social role. The warning signs when you overuse. People will find out when you make false behaviors, which is false politeness, and avoiding honest conversations. When you start avoiding honest conversations, these are the signs when you are actually overdoing these things, right? So please be aware of the warning signs: fake politeness and avoiding honest conversations. And family needs from you is cooperation and social harmony. Cooperation and social harmony. This is what the family needs from you. So this is the social circle which you need to be aware of. What you're in private inside your family is different, and what you're in the social role is different. We don't have to mix both these things together. Next one is the professional role, which is structured, clear, and efficient. I would request somebody from the participant to unmute and read out what this professional role means and warning signs and what family needs from you. Anybody can unmute and please read it out.
Behavior markers.
Okay.
Take focus, quick decisions, authority plus leadership, instructional tone.
Okay.
Wo-
So thanks, Tarni. Just hold on. So the behavior markers are, it is mostly task focused. It's always pertaining to a task, not the people. People in management know about the task versus people mode. So here the professional role only talks about the task. Quick decisions, authority and leadership is seen. Who's the head of the family? I am to take the decision. You have to get my permission. And there's always a instructional role which happens, which comes, no, like instead of being polite, here it is always in a commanding tone. The tone comes up. Okay. Attorney, please continue.
Warning signs, overuse, bossiness, criticism, zero empathy tone.
Okay. So it goes. We show who the when we overstep, we show who the boss is in the family. We raise our voice, like when it comes to some critical situations, and we are sharp at giving criticisms because we have that authority and the position in the family, and there is zero empathy tone in the communication. There's no empathy. We don't give importance to the people but only to the task. Yes, Tarni, you can continue.
Ideal movements, planning, scheduling, daily routines, problem solving.
So, professional role will be much helpful during our planning, some planning for trip or some planning in the family, some scheduling, some daily routines, some problem solving activities which is happening in the family. Professional roles are very, very useful. These are the ideal movements. Okay. Tarni, the last part.
Family needs from you clarity, structure, direction without domination.
Okay. What family expects from you in this professional role is very simple. Give them clarity, help them to gain clarity. The structure, what has to be done, what is the sequence, what is the procedure, and the direction, which direction we need to take, how do we take a decision in certain situations, how do we move forward, and all these things without domination. So that is what we expect from the professional role, which makes it very clear, right? So it is very helpful and useful, but at the same time, we also need to be careful when the bossiness, the criticism, and the zero empathy tone takes place. The fourth and the final role, which is the spiritual role, values, wisdom, and higher perspective. Values, wisdom, and higher perspective. Simple. So by now you would have understood what role is going to happen here. in the behavior markers, guiding with values, guiding the family members with values, moral direction, blessings, rituals, elder guidance, all these things pertain to the behavior marker. These are the behaviors which is expected from the spiritual role. The ideal moments can be family ceremonies, right? Some puja happening, some auspicious days, right? The crisis situations, at moments of crisis, when we start wobbling, when our mind is not clear, values wisdom comes in. Moral dilemmas, this or that, should I go for a purchase of gold, or should I invest in fixed deposit? What is it? Should I do this, shouldn't I do that? In the moral dilemmas. Okay. And this is very, very useful when you're passing the traditions of your family, what you're seen, right? Normally these roles will be taken up by the seniors in the family. Now comes the most important part, the warning signs, right? Ah, very, very important situation where the elders in the family always find a rift with the younger generations. Like now we got a lot of classification, Gen Z, Alpha, okay, whatever it is. The seniors, right? When they use their value, wisdom, and their higher perspectives in a preaching mode, there the trouble starts. The moral superiority, when they start showing their moral superiority, and the most important one, when they start their lectures when no one asked for it. Please understand, lecturing when no one has asked for the lecture. Now these are the three signs which you need to be aware of in your spiritual role. And what your family expects is your calm presence, right? Your wisdom and not your judgment. They expect you to share your wisdom and not your judgment. So there are various, we have seen in our earlier sessions, the way how we communicate, we trigger the thought process in the other person, how we can activate their adult ego state, and all those kind of methods we have seen. So spiritual, in short, you need to be aware that people need your calm presence and your wisdom, right? Through values, through moral directions, through your blessings, passing on your traditional what do you call traditional rituals and all those kind of things to the next generation. It is very important. So these are the four roles which we normally see in our family. So connecting this with the transaction analysis, the ego states parent, adult, and child. We have the description, judging, moral, and instructional, which is connected with the roles of professional and spiritual. The adult, neutral, balanced thinking, the role switching manager, the person who or the ego state which brings awareness to you. Hey, guy, you are right now using the professional mode. You are with your kid. You are supposed to use the private mode, right? So that is the role of the adult ego state, which is neutral, balanced, and thinking. The child ego state talks about the emotions and the playful and the expressive nature of the person, which is the private. So in short, we can connect the parent ego state with the professional and the spiritual role, the adult with the role manager, deciding which role to take and which one to use in the current situation, the child being the private and the playful. The key reminder for people who use TA in your day-to-day life is your adult ego state is your decision maker. Once you activate your adult and you are in your present moment, being in touch with the current reality that you're in your family, and you're starting to use some judgmental words or harsh words, or you're calculating something, and you feel the other person is not in the same mode, then this helps you to become aware of the mismatch in the role, and it helps you to move to the appropriate role. So the personal role, the social role, the professional role, and the spiritual role needs to be used appropriately. Why we snap at home? Very simple. When we say why we get triggered at home is because professional role leakage happens into the private space. When we're at home, we are supposed to be in our private space, and what happens is like sometimes we carry over our baggages from the organization or the professional role which we are taking outside. The moment we enter, we are in the same tone. We are commanding our body language. Everything is the same way how we handle our team members or our vendors. The same kind of a thing which happens in our office happens at the home, because we are just carrying over that feeling and that behavior into our family. So when we are in our family, it is time for us to realize that our role is different here. We need to go in for a very appropriate one. Okay, friends, I would like you to have your focus on the screen. We have got two case studies here. So this is a place where you can participate again and share your thoughts. So that will also give me an understanding of how much you have taken in. The case study one, office dad at home, right? Dad enters home still in professional role. The kid wants bonding. Grandmother expects respect. Mother expects calmness in the family, right? But you know what happens, because the office dad at home is in the same professional role. Upper returns in boss mode, definitely there'll be chaos in the family. So now my question to you is, what happened? What is the solution? What will the result be? You can unmute or you can use the chat box. ஒரு அப்பா ஆஃபீஸ்ல இருந்து வராரு, ப்ரொஃபஷனல் மோட்ல இருக்காரு. அந்த ஃபேமிலியில சிச்சுவேஷன் என்னன்னா, அந்த குழந்தைக்கு வந்து இட் லுக்ஸ் ஃபார் பாண்டிங். தி கிராண்ட் மதர் ஆர் தி மதர் ஆஃப் தி டேட் எக்ஸ்பெக்ட்ஸ் ரெஸ்பெக்ட், and the mother expects, that is the wife of the father expects calmness in the family. But the father is in a professional mode, in the boss mode.
So the father has to relax for a short while and change the role from professional to private.
Excellent. So that is the solution. What would be the result?
It will be like the atmosphere at home will be more happy if the role gets changed.
Role gets
Changed to private mode.
okay. So what will be the end result? So you have given the answer. You have given the right answer. The appropriate one. Private mode is required. So what will be the end result of this?
So the kids will get bonding, grandmother will get respect, and mother will have a calm atmosphere.
Excellent, excellent, Sumati. That was bang on. So what happened was there's a role mismatch, as most of you said. Uh, so what we had to do was to do the role reset. That's what you said in simpler terms. He was in the professional mode, he had to move on to the private mode, and the result, softer entry. Whenever he's entering the family house, the entry becomes softer, and there is a better bonding, and there's more harmony, and the kid gets bonding, the grandmother gets the respect, and the mother gets the expected calmness from the dad who comes after a very busy and hectic day at the office. We got few messages in the chat. Yes, Priya, well, I'll show you the 4 different roles again. And Siva Shanmuga Priya has said, sir, we can change to private mode role. Excellent. And we can change and adapt according to situation and act, then only we can live peacefully. Excellent. So the challenge here comes across when the previous slide I was showing you about the adult mode was bringing to your awareness. Okay, I'm entering the family, right? I need to move to a different mode. A few years back, before COVID, there was some harsh argument I was doing with one of my suppliers. I was shouting at the top of my voice. I never felt what was happening inside the family, but I was shouting at my vendor outside, who's outside my family. But the kind of voice I raised, the kind of words I used, the harshness, all those things impacted my family members. So after the conversation for was hardly for 3-4 minutes, but after the 3-4 minutes, everything was standstill in my family. Everybody was silent, and the moods have changed, and everything was changed. That is when I realized the role what is, even though I was inside the family, but I was yet attending to my office calls. So now what I have started doing is like I either finish most of my calls before I enter into my house, or if a call comes, I move away from the family members. I move into my private room and I start attending the call. And if, of course, if it is a casual call with one of my friends, I casually talk with in front of my family members. This is one shift which I was able to do to bring in a different situation into my family. What to do with exceptional person? We need to bring it to their awareness, or we need to shift our role, knowing the role in which the other person is in. That is where we were talking about shifting the levels in the ladder inside the family. The four roles: uh, the uh, the personal, the social, the professional, and the spiritual role. Probably, like in case we are using the spiritual role, we can move to a different role so that we match the role in which the other person is in. I've got another case study. Um, the over spiritual mother. This is the over spiritual mother. Uh, the daughter 18 shares uh, her vulnerability. Okay, vulnerability is some of a weakness or difficulties which she is facing. Immediately, the mom shifts into preaching mode, which is the spiritual mode. Naturally, what happens? The teen shuts down. In the spiritual mode, what happens? Values, ethics, do's, don'ts, all those kind of things, right? So, actually, the teen is in private role, but the parent responds from the spiritual role. Okay, this is the mismatch which is happening here. The teen is in the private role, the parent responds from the spiritual role. So what happened? What is the solution? What could be the result? Any takers?
Sir, this is Priya Hemant.
Yes, Priya.
So, sir, when the teen wants to talk to the mother, depends on the topic. So, if she wants to talk to someone like a friend, then you have to go to the child mode, playful mode. And without judging the child, we have to listen. If they just want a listener.
Yes. Wonderful.
Sometimes they want advice from us. They don't know what to do. They have tried everything and then they come to us what to do. Then we are in the parent mode.
Done. You're given the solution.
Yeah,
Okay.
because if we start preaching, they do shut off.
Very true. So that is what happened in this example also. The wrong role took over. So the solution is switching. The mother ideally should have switched on to the private or to the private mode or to the adult mode first. Then, as you said, could have started giving the suggestions and the other ideas. So what would have happened to the teen? The teen would have felt understood, because that intimate moment, that personal moment, and asking for more information would have uh, shown the mother in a better picture, where the teen felt that the mother is making steps to understand what the vulnerability is all about, what the kid is sharing about. Thanks, Priya. So, friends, so again, we are talking about the solution lies in switching and matching the role which calls for in that particular situation. So you can use the chat box, or you can, I would prefer to have the chat box because many of you can answer the same question. I'll give you 4 scenarios just to check out your understanding of the roles. Okay, kid asks for playtime. Kid wants to play with the parents or the grandparents. What is the best role? What is the recommended role? Okay, fast fingers. Yes. Right? Sivashanmuga Priya says private. Sumati says private. Priya says playful private child mode. Yes. Wonderful. Great. That's perfect answer. Now for the second one. Scenario B. Family plans a trip. What is the role which is required here? Your family is planning for a trip. Sumati says social, Priya says professional, Sivashanmuga Priya says social. Okay, I will request you to think again. It is more of planning. Remember, we had gone through the 4 roles. Which role goes in for the planning, evaluation, uh, and goes for calculations? Is it personal? Is it social? Is it professional, or is it spiritual? Okay, great. Sriram says professional. Namalaji says professional. Sumati says professional. Great. Now we have got the role. It is the professional mode. Right? First comes the professional mode, then comes the social mode. So people who have said social is also right, people who said professional is also right. But here, a combination of both the roles are required. But you can't do both these things together. When you have to be professional, you have to be professional. When you have to be social, you have to be social. Right? So when we say social, like what are the places you're going to go and visit, any relatives to visit, where you're going to take photos, what are you going to purchase and come back for whom, all those kind of things comes into the social aspect. Thank you. The third scenario, teen confesses a mistake. The kid confesses a mistake. What is the role you can take? Okay, Priya says nurturing. Yes. Private. Yes. Okay. It is a private and a adult mode. Okay, being private and also using the adult mode. So private is the most important thing, which gives the comfort and it gets you connected with the emotional level. Anamalaji says private, Sumati says private. You're right. The fourth scenario, a festival preparation is happening. A festival preparations are happening. What is the best role? A slightly trickier one. Okay, spiritual. Great. Somebody says spiritual. Social is from Priya. Social and spiritual from Sivashanmuga Priya. Sriram says social and spiritual. Great. So now we have started going for combinations. Great. Good. So let us see. Planning and professional and spiritual. So if it is, yes, again, it depends on the context. Social role is necessary when it is festival time. And in case if it is pertaining to doing some puja in the festival time, all those kind of things, then the spiritual part is required because like we need to take, say for example, if it is Diwali time, then again putting oil on the head, taking an oil bath, getting before 5, okay, visiting the relatives, all those kind of things, close relatives, going to a temple, getting the blessings of the seniors. Again, that calls for the spiritual. So this scenario D calls for the social role and the spiritual role as such, again, depending on the context of the situation which we are taking across. Thank you, friends, for the participation. So this is what we call as the role switch scenarios, where we switch the roles. Okay, so what we had now had was identifying, okay, uh, when we say religious, if it is pertaining to the rituals, we are only talking to rituals, whatever the religion might be, whatever we follow as it is in the scriptures or it has been followed in our family, we call it for this role. For this role, we call it as the spiritual part, because normally what happens is these directions are being given by the elders in the family. How to break a coconut, right? Put flowers into the water, right? In the small vessel, to put water 3 times, anti-clockwise, clockwise, all those kind of things are in this particular space. Thank you. Okay, now comes some work for you to do. So please take some moment to write these things down. Write 3 moments when wrong roles showed up in your life, probably in the recent past. What 3 wrong roles came up? 3 wrong roles, 3 moments when you show the wrong role. You don't have to share it. Please note it down. So what you have to do after writing these 3 moments is explore each one separately. So for right now, you can take one moment where the wrong role showed up with you, or you showed up the wrong role. Just go through the following questions what I asked, so that you get into your mind, you do a small analysis. The same method, you use it for your other 2 moments. What happened? What happened in that situation? What happened? What was the wrong role you used? What was the wrong role I used? What would have been the correct role needed in that particular situation? What would have been the appropriate role in that situation? So this gives you the awareness as to what you need to do the next time, right? What is the ego state triggered? The most important part, impact. So what would be the impact when you use the appropriate role? The private role, the social role, the professional role, and the spiritual role. Had you used that thing appropriately to that particular situation, what would have been the impact? And the last one, what I'll do next time. What is it that you're willing to do next time? That is very important decision. So think about one moment in the recent past where your wrong role showed up. Then use these questions. What happened? What wrong role I used? What is the correct role required? What is the impact I will have when I use the correct role? And what I will do next time? What sort of behavior I'll exhibit, or what words I'll use, what body language I'll use, what will be my expressions. Just become aware of these things. So this is where you become aware of your role mismatch. So probably if time permits in your next uh, 3 to 4 days, what you can start making a logbook is write the situation in which you use the wrong role. What is the wrong role? And you write the answer. What is the right role? So this worksheet, once you start filling up on a daily basis, what happens is within a day or two, you become aware of what predominant role you start using and what is the right role is required. That awareness itself will give you a lot of relief and lot of coordination and bonding will start happening in your family. So what is the role reset formula? Very simple. You stop the moment you become aware that you're using the wrong role. You stop, take a deep breath, switch your role, right? So what are the situations you can use this role reset formula? This is the most important part of today's session, because this is what you're going to take home practically and you're going to use it in your day-to-day life. Stop before you enter your home, before you talk to your kids, before you handle a conflict, before you're making a decision, before you're giving a feedback, before you're sharing the emotional topics. You might be any role. Stop, take a deep breath, switch the role to the appropriate role in which you need to be in, then start doing the communication. It just takes 15 seconds, but it saves a lot of fights, friends. It just takes 15 seconds and it saves a lot of fights, because you're in the very appropriate mode when you enter your home, or when you're talking to your kid, or when you're handling a conflict, making decisions, giving feedback, and sharing emotional topics. So the role reset formula, it is a micro ritual to prevent 70% of fights in your family. Probably if you're perfect in getting your role reset formula correctly, then the 70% might increase also. But don't worry about the percentage. Start small. Even if you get 10% of your fights sorted out in your family, that is more than good. Stop, breathe, switch role, pause 3 seconds. Okay. Inhale, slowly exhale, identify the needed role, switch your tone, posture, face, and the speed in which you talk and you walk. Very simple. Pause, inhale and exhale slowly. Identify the role which you need to take. You have just got 4 roles, not more than that. Is it private? Is it social? Is it professional? Or is it spiritual? Identify the needed role, switch your tone. Automatically, your tone starts switching, your posture starts changing. There's a lot of changes in your face and the speed in which you talk. Use this before talking, after work, before conflict, or during any emotional tension. It can be used anywhere. This is the role reset formula, friends. Stop, breathe, and switch your role. Right? Something to do with your family. I know some of you are here with your family, some of you are not here with the family. So choose 2 or 3 agreements for your home, right? So this is probably, you can take this decision for yourself, for your family, right? You can probably think about 2 or 3 agreements which you can take. I've got few sample ideas, right? Based on your family, you can take the agreement. This is what we call as the starter role agreement, because you're just starting your role, and this is the starter role agreement which you do to your family. No work role for 20 minutes after entering home. Okay. We had many of you sharing, no, like when you're entering the home, you'll have to be in the private. So which means the working people will have to shed away the work role for 20 minutes inside the family. The moment you enter into your family, you take care of your kid, the elders at home, your better half. You say hi, 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 how was the day? You do a small chit chat. All your emotions are transferred in 20 minutes. Then you can go back to your official thing. The second sample idea can be meals. Okay, when you're having your meals, it's only going to be private and social, no professional and spiritual talk, no advice, nothing there. It is all private, bonding things happening, and social funny things, sharing what happens, what has happened in your family or in your workplace on that day. Nothing serious. And advice only when asked. Like that is the toughest part, to keep our mouth closed when we feel like the urge to give the advice. A few sessions back, we had spoken about the drama triangle and the winner's triangle. This can be connected to that also. Probably we can just tell our family members, like all of you are grown up. If at all you feel like you want my advice, you can ask me, right? or I feel like telling you, I'll ask your permission. Shall I tell before telling you, so that you also feel engaged, right? So these are some of the starter role agreements which you can think about what you can bring in as a change into your family. Okay, what Priya Hemant has got a beautiful question. What about people who work from home? We have all been through this COVID, so we know what our office times are. We have a designated place, which is an official place. Kids know when the parents go to that particular room or to particular table, then they are the official mode. Nobody comes and disturbs us. So people understand what is actually happening. So it is this situation where we draw our boundaries. Okay, I will come and talk to you between 1 and 2 during the lunch. So I have official work between 10 and 1, and sometimes even today I'm taking this session from my home only. So I have made some adjustments so that I'm not disturbed with the regular things happening at the family. So my family members understand. So friends, start a role agreement. What is the agreement you're going to do with your family, to yourself and your family? Very, very important for you. So family agreement template, simple, which roles we need more and which roles we need less in our family. That is all you need to take a call. Chit chat with your family members, you'll be able to find out what their needs are and what you can contribute. So identify what roles we need more and what roles we need less of. And uh, so probably you can rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So what is your usage of the ladder, the role, particular role, the private, social, professional, and spiritual? Rate yourself. Uh, Please use your pen and paper. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. What is your comfort level? Okay. What is your comfort level on a scale of 1 to 10? Okay. Once you have written down your comfort level, then you need to tick whether you're overused or underused. Okay. So first you write down your comfort level on a scale of 1 to 10. And next part will be whether you're overusing it or you have underused. Simple. And when you say notes, it means like your thought process, what you want to do next, what you want to change within yourself, or with your what you want to discuss with your family members. All these things can be brought into the notes area. So for your reflection can be, which role is my default role? You'll be able to identify what is your default role. Which role am I avoiding? Which role am I avoiding? Which role causes conflict at home? Once you work out on this, you do your self audit on the role ladder, you'll be able to identify which role is your default role, which role are you avoiding, and which role causes conflict at home. And research has shown all the 4 roles are required depending on the situation in the family. So the family role decoder. So think of a recent argument which happened in the family. Okay, think of a recent argument which happened in the family. Same questions you need to think about. What happened? What happened? What role did I use? What role did the other people use or the other person use? What role was expected from me or from the other person? Since we can't change the other person, it is good we change the role. Which ego states were active? Which ego states were active? Which role would have solved it instantly? Which role would have solved it instantly? So these questions provide an insight as to what our favorite roles are, what are the roles we use least, and in the family, what other members use, and what we can do to have a healthy conversation. What role would have solved it instantly? See, any argument can be snipped at the bud itself, right? It doesn't have to grow, provided we know the role in which we need to handle it. So action plan, one shift, what you're going to do, what is the area you're going to focus on, and one agreement with your family for a week. So this could be your action plan. So a gentle nudge. I just got 2 3 slides to go. Which role do I overuse? Okay, just become aware of it. Which roles do I avoid? Which role brings peace to my family? So once sometimes we shift our roles, it brings a lot of peace, a lot of harmony inside the family. Where did I bring the wrong role this week? Become aware of what wrong role you brought in this week. What is one role I'll adjust tomorrow? Okay, so you can go for the next second implementation. So these are some gentle nudges to uh, help you to go deeper into the roles which you have. So quick reference cheat sheets. Private role is all about bonding. Private role is all about bonding. Social role is all about harmony. Professional role is all about structure, being systematic, being professional. And spiritual role is all about wisdom. Private role is bonding. Social role is harmony. Professional role is structure, spiritual role is wisdom, in short, and the adult ego state is the role manager who helps you to decide what role you need to take in what situation. Adult ego state is nothing but being aware of yourself, the people around you, the situation, and what you need to take appropriately. So the final reflection, what is one role I want to use more intentionally, which will bring in harmony into your family? What is one role I want to reduce? What is one agreement I want to propose to my family? The last one is very, very important. I would say all the final 3 reflections are important. What I want to use more intentionally, what role I want to reduce, and what one agreement I want to propose to my family. And the closing notes, your role aren't wrong. Please understand, your roles aren't wrong. Sometimes they just show up at the wrong moment. As I told you in the initial stage, it has nothing to do with the person. It has got nothing to do with you. It is only the role which you are taking. Your roles aren't wrong. Sometimes they just show up at the wrong moment. Simple, when you have to be private, you bring in your professional role. No, like it happens. See, now we have got the concept, we got the model, we got the structure. Now we can handle it. Sometimes they just show up at the wrong moment. A small role shift is enough to change the emotional climate of your entire home. A small role shift is enough to change the emotional climate of your entire home. The role shift can be from you, the role shift can be from anybody else in your family. But definitely the emotional climate of your entire home will change. Friends, with this, uh, I end my today's session. Any questions, any doubts you can ask me. And for people who are here for the first time, I'm just sharing my WhatsApp link, the SAM community WhatsApp link. This is a one-way communication group where we'll be only sharing the details of the program. Friends, like whatever program we are doing, it is all built around the family. I know, like uh, something was running in my mind for the past around 4 5 days. I had a chat with a few people, right? What is the kind of harmony, or what is it that we ultimately look out for in our family? Do we look out for happiness, harmony, happier moments? What is it? But are we willing to change, or is it that we are expecting the other person to change? This is what the dilemma I was in. So that is why, like whatever sessions we handle, we give you end up with always actionable points, where the actionable points will be at 2 different levels. One will be a part where you can apply it on yourself and you can bring in a change by changing yourself. Second thing, working with your family and bringing a change with their support. So these are the 2 areas what I'm looking at for bringing in a change into the participants' family. So I just want to get a feedback as to, like which do you find easier to do? Bringing in a change within yourself or working with the family and bringing in a change? I just wanted to get a small feedback on that particular aspect so that I can I can add in certain things at the end. So normally I open up with a different with a concept each time. I give examples, show few case studies, and finally I end up with the actionable plans. Okay, Suvashanmugha Priya says both. Thank you.
Though it is easy for us to change, we always expect another person to change. So that raises the problem.
Okay, great. I got it.
Yeah, Jaganji,
Yes.
I also agree on both has to be changed, but then the change has to start with self. This I'm sharing out of the experience. So, in fact, I didn't know the context of this session. I'm sorry about it. But then maybe on a different note, I can, I share it. I can share it with you on one-on-one. But then once you start changing, it gives confidence to the other members of the family also, because they keep observing you, like how you observe the other people. And the moment they see a positive change in you, and that starts influencing them, and that helps you to build a harmony and synergy within the family, and then that certainly leads to happiness. This I'm not just saying it for the session. This what I have practiced and I have experienced it, and I have gained a lot of advantage, not just over few months, or I can say almost over 20 plus years. So it certainly helps. And thanks for bringing this very, very pertinent question.
Thanks, Sriramji. Fine.
Jagan,
Yeah, Anamala sir. Good evening.
good evening. Sometimes I consciously take a different role, even though I know what is the ideal one, to make the situation a little fun or interesting or suspense or something like that. But I do it consciously to make it interesting. Okay.
Right, sir. I understand. Sir, once things are in our control, that is with awareness, any role you take is fine because you're able to shift it. There'll definitely be a scenario or a reason behind this conscious shift in the roles. So
Yeah.
you have an ultimate goal, and once that is fulfilled, then things are accepted there, sir. Ultimately,
Yeah.
they are for harmony.
As you told, yeah, the control is in my hands at the time. Yeah, that's right.
So it's just like when a small child falls down, we go and hit the ground. So the child thinks we are scolding the ground, but heart of heart, we know that the ground is immaterial. It's only the child which has to be careful. But at that particular moment, to stop the child from crying, we do this. Thank you, sir. Fine, friends. Thank you. So, next week, Akash will be back. He's in Australia for a program. He's back tomorrow. So next week, Akash will be handling a different subject. So we'll be in touch. Somebody had asked for the 4 slides, the 4 roles. I will put it in the WhatsApp group so that it can be a reflection for people also. So the video recording also, I'll be sharing it by tomorrow evening. Thank you, friends. Thank you for your valuable presence and time. Thank you, Sriramji. Thank you, Sumati ma'am. Thank you, Tarni. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Anamalaji.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Basilios. Thank you, Giri. Thank you, Suresh ji. Thank you, Priya ma'am. Thank you, Rama ma'am. Thank you, Selva Kumar. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.